Hey there, podcast listeners. Are you ready to take your game day to the next level? I'm excited to announce that I've partnered with SeatGeek as their newest brand ambassador. That's right, I'm officially royally quacking about this awesome collaboration. SeatGeek is your go-to platform for finding the best deals on your tickets to all your favorite events. From concerts to sports, they've got you covered. And as a special thank you to my listeners, use code Royally Quacked. That's right, you can use it in all caps, Royally Quacked, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. So what are you waiting for? Grab your friends, score some awesome tickets, and go make some unforgettable memories together. Thank you for SeatGeek for making it happen.
Hi, Ducks and Kings fans. This is Gary from Royally Quacked. I'm coming to you live from the dungeon in El Segundo. Last week, I was a bad boy. Not only did I insult my co-host, but I insulted one of the greatest goalies in NHL history. So somehow, some way, my son forgave me. Somehow, some way, he was able to get what I needed to be able to do the podcast so my streak would stay alive. Thank you, Cody, for making this possible. It's a 1 week stint, guys. I was a bad boy. And apologies to Dominic Hasek. Why I couldn't remember you won the Hart Trophy. Probably because you were so incredible, even with Buffalo, but they were never really a great team. So it just never popped into my head. So apologies, sir. Forgive me. Maybe I can get off with an early release for good behavior.
Well, let's just say the only reason why you're on here is no one hit me up on the Indeed job search, so
Okay,
you're in the
so
clear so far.
stay for one more week. Yay!
Yeah, I just can't believe you forgot that Hasek won a part.
Yeah, I've done more embarrassing things than that. So,
Oh, haven't we all? Haven't
but
we all?
I'm in a dungeon for a week. It's dark. It's musky.
So
There's duck droppings all over here in El Segundo.
good. All right, so it's your turn for trivia, right?
Oh gosh, yes. I didn't even think about that.
You got it, or you want to move to news first?
We could move to news first.
All right. We'll start off with Ducks news. So last week I told everyone that our third overall pick in this last year's draft, forward Beckett Seneca, was going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, but I guess that is not true apparently. So according to Generals Live, at Generals Update, good. This is what it says in the tweet. Good news for Ducks and Generals fans. As I heard tonight that Beckett Seneca has the boot off and will start skating this week. The 6 to 8 weeks that Anaheim tweeted out is the full injury recovery time, but the injury happened 6 weeks ago. Barring a setback, he'll be in opening night. I'm guessing the opening night is more for the Oshawa Generals, not the Ducks opening night, so that's good news. I don't think he's going to be in part of rookie camp at all because he's just now getting over the injury, but I hope there's no setbacks and he's able to start playing sometime soon, because I would love just to start watching him just playing wherever he's playing, if it's in the with the Oshawa Generals or with the Anaheim Ducks, because he can't really play with the goals because of the whole CBA agreement with the junior CHL league. Next one. This is the news that shocked I think everyone this week. Is that you?
Yeah.
You know we're doing a podcast here, right?
Yeah.
Sir?
Yes.
No playing games?
I'm in a dungeon. What do you want me? I'm playing a game. I'm bored. I'm in a dungeon. Give a guy a break.
Nope. No breaks.
Still bread and water. I'm almost skinny as a rail.
Mom's doing her job. Good. All right. Per Jordan Schmaltz, Cam Fowler's agent has notified the Ducks management. Sir, I'm trying to tell you the news here.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. This
I got another week now. In the dungeon.
I really gotta boost the thing for the Indeed search now. God. All right.
Having fun, aren't we?
Well, at least turn off the sound. Jeez. Anyways, as I was saying, Cam Fowler's agent has notified the Ducks management that he may not report to training camp. This may be a strategy to be traded sooner. That is some big news. I was not expecting that. So,
Okay.
I'm maybe I was wrong last week. I thought it was going to be a trade maybe at the trade deadline this year or next off season, but it looks like it might be sooner than that. We will see. I did hear that the Blues were interested in Cam Fowler, but I guess nothing really came to fruition on that. Makes me wonder, like, who is looking at Cam Fowler and what the trade is looking like. Are the Ducks going to retain? Because I think he has 2 years left, I believe. I can't remember at the top of my head. I could pull up on Puckpedia and check it out after Ducks news, and I could tell you guys for sure.
Yeah, maybe the Blackhawks.
Yeah, Cam Fowler for Connor Bedard. Boom. I like that. Oh, what a great trade.
Yeah, you're gonna get more like who's the guy that got injured last year?
Injured. Oh, Hall?
Yeah, Taylor Hall.
I would take that trade. I would take that trade.
Well, they're not gonna trade Bedard.
No, I know. A man can wish.
Yeah.
But next bit of news is Ducks signed the following players to PTOs: Gustav Lindstrom, Mark Pissick. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, and Boris Katachuk. Gustav Lindstrom did play for the Ducks last year after we picked him up from waivers from the Montreal Canadiens. I thought he was a good waiver wire pickup. So we'll see what happens with that. And then there was something that people are saying on social media that if the Ducks and Blackhawks should play a game against each other, that they should wear the original Mighty Ducks movie shirts, the Ducks versus the Hawks. What do you think about that, Dad?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, because people are putting on like social media with Bedard and the Hawks jersey, and then Carlson and the green Mighty Ducks. I would love to see that. That would be like a great like outdoor game to do with that. Ooh.
Yeah, it would be. That would be fun.
And you got the number 1 versus the number 2 pick going against each other.
Winner, chicken dinner on that one. I think that'd be a great idea.
Bringing back like how it was during the mid 2010s when the Ducks and Blackhawks were always facing off each other in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, all right, that is it for Ducks news. You got a lot of Kings news here.
I do. Podcast host in dungeon. Details at 11. Actually, there isn't much on the Kings front right now, guys. We still haven't heard anything about Arthur Kaliev, which is, I don't know, guys. He's talent. I just hope we can bring him back in, make him feel at home, put him on a line with Byfield and Fiala, and watch him fly like the Flying V. So there isn't much Kings news. I don't know. Are we going to do it? The only Kings news is the update on the rookie face-off from Friday.
We'll save that for next week. Might as well do all the games together.
Okay.
So
no spoiler alert then.
Yeah, no spoiler alerts. I forgot one other Ducks news. Ducks public address announcer Phil Hewitt has been extended to a 1-year contract to remain as the public address announcer for the upcoming season. So I always like Phil Hewitt. All right, on to league news.
So am I going to get to talk at all?
Yep.
Or am I just in the dungeon for the rest of the podcast?
You're in the dungeon. All right, you can start. Go for it.
Okay, the NHL trade deadline is set for March 7th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Yep. So that'll be noon Pacific time. Could be some exciting things happening then, depending on what happens with our teams and also every other team in hockey.
Yep.
So, I mean, you could see the Ducks make a big move, or possibly if the Kings aren't in a playoff spot, they might make some big moves. So, stay tuned. That's a few months away. Well,
yeah.
Like 5 months away. 6 months away.
Yeah, I'm going to say a lot longer than that. All right, next one.
Or you want to take the next one because you've been nothing but talking.
All right, go for it.
The Kraken have re-signed defenseman Adam Larsson to a 4-year contract extension worth $5.25 million AAV. Overall, $21 million.
Good re-signing.
Nice contract. It is.
He's done well there.
He has. Even though I traded Fowler on your advice to get him, and he wasn't very much of a fantasy guy, but a lot of these guys aren't fantasy guys, but they're integral to their team playing. Which is something I'm really coming to realize how important role players are actually in hockey. Because one thing about just to take a sidestep from the league news for a second, people, is the Kings. Rob Blake I think he did what he wanted. I mean, we were disappointed that he didn't do more, but he got role players. A lot of people think Tanner Jeannot is going to make a huge difference with this team, along with even Joel Edmondson is going to make a difference. So he got the players he wanted. That's where his job is on the line. If they suck this year, he's probably not going to get another contract with the Kings.
And the best move of all, he got out of the PLD contract.
The interesting thing is maybe that's the place PLD needed to go to flourish. It couldn't come back to slap him in the face if he Ovechkin gets 60 goals and
breaks. PLD is the reason why he beats Gretzky's record.
Gets broken. Yeah, it's just you never know. I mean, and I don't wish evil upon anybody. I really don't.
All right.
Did you want to take the next one?
Do you want to keep going since you want to keep saying?
Okay. The Leafs have re-signed forward Nick Robertson to a 1-year extension worth $875,000 AAV. But despite the contract, there is belief Robertson is still more likely to be traded than open the season with the Leafs. Saravelli, we're going to actually quote him? Notes that there is still solid interest.
He's bad with Ducks stuff, but I think he's better with Toronto stuff.
Okay. There's still interest in Robertson, and there's always easier to trade an asset under contract as opposed to restricted free agents. Yeah. Then again, we talked about the Kaliev there has been talk about Kalia for Robertson. Would we make that trade, Ducks or Kings fans?
Yeah, Ducks fans, would you make that trade?
Yeah. Hey, Duck fans,
I would love that.
would you not want the Kings to make that trade, or would you want them to make that trade?
I want the Ducks to make that trade.
You want them to get Robertson? Well,
Yeah.
that's a possibility too.
Yep. All right.
And
the Leafs have signed defenseman Yanni Hakanpää to a 1-year contract worth $1.47 million. I just love that name, Hakanpää. Former Duck.
Yeah.
All right, and sorry, there was a couple other news items that I forgot to put on there. Let's see if I can find it.
Boy, and I'm in a dungeon. What's that?
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna be in the Honda Center.
Yeah, that's
dungeon.
Fine. Oh no, put me where I want to be. At the Honda Center.
Yeah, but it's not where you can see the game.
Huh?
And there's Kings droppings all over there.
Sounds like Royally Quacked.
Yeah.
Alex Stalock has retired from professional hockey at the age of 37 and will join the San Jose Sharks television broadcast. And by the way, this was the goalie, I believe, last week who I was trying to remember, who was like the in-between AHL and NHL and AHL last year. Or like if Gibson or Dostal got hurt, this was like the first goalie call-up. It was Alex Stalock. And of course, as I was editing and re-listening to the podcast, I was like, yo, Stalock. Of course, right? Because that's when I just finally remember. But, yep. So that is it for league news. You want to do the trivia question now?
Okay. Now, tell me if I've done this before, because it seems familiar. What number was the first number for the Ducks to be retired?
I think you did do this.
Did I do that one? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, are you really going to ask me that question? That's an easy one. Number 8, Teemu Selanne. That's an easy one.
Okay, I have another.
Because I believe Korea and Niedermeyer were in the same year, but I think at separate times. And those are only 3, which should be 4. Hey,
okay.
Turn off your sound.
Who was the first Anaheim Duck coach to finish his tenure with a winning record? That would be the second question.
Okay.
Well, I'll give you 4.
There's 4 of them?
I'll give you 4 options.
Okay. I think
Craig Hartsburg.
Okay.
Randy Carlisle.
Okay.
Bruce Boudreau.
Okay.
And Mike Babcock.
I'm going to go with Mike Babcock. That's what I was thinking.
Mike Babcock is the correct answer.
I think Bruce Boudreau had the best overall regular season record. I believe.
Well, it wasn't just one season. It finished his tenure.
Yeah.
With a winning record.
Yeah. You said the first one.
Right, and it was Mike Babcock.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. He's the one that took them to their first Stanley Cup final in 2003. So, all right. You ready to get on today's topic?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we had a listener give us an idea, which I actually really enjoyed this idea. He wanted us to pick to go through the Pacific Division, our division, and name off every team's top 6 players.
Well, that's not exactly what he said.
Okay. Well,
I'll let you. Changed it. Let me tell you. He wanted us to do like line versus line. And my thought on that is that right now we haven't even gotten training camp starts next week. We don't even know what those lines are going to be just yet. So what our idea, and we're going to steal this from him, is when the season starts, prior to them playing each other, we're trying to pit the lines together. So for like a week, we'll try to go through, like, we do this usually on a Saturday or Sunday, but for that following week, we're going to have the Kings versus whoever and the Ducks versus whoever, and we'll have to try to do the lines, say how those lines might match up, and give you guys an idea of what to look for in the game. But right now, what we decided to do instead is go to that Pacific Division and give what we believe are the 6 top players from each team in the division.
Yeah.
That's what we decided to do, stealing that idea from our list.
I mean, we could still kind of do it where we're matching our top players versus the other team's top players.
Well, yeah, if you want to look at it that way,
but
we could do it that way.
So that's I say we leave our 2 teams for last.
Right. So what, we're going to start with Calgary then?
We'll start with Calgary. You want to give your top 6?
Yeah, I will do that. This isn't in order, by the way.
Oh, I did mine
I didn't do it in order.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to do one, and you do one. We'll do one, back, and back.
Just do your 6, and then we'll do my 6.
I don't want to do it that way. Just do my, because if we have the same one, we're not going to repeat it.
Okay.
You go, okay, he's on my list. My first one, Mackenzie Weegar, defenseman.
I have him on my list as well.
He was a key component in the trade, and I think he's probably been the best producer from that trade for Calgary since they got rid of Kachuk.
And hands down.
So
right.
Look, now you go with one.
All right. Nazem Kadri.
I think is right below Mackenzie Weegar for me.
Yeah.
He's a center, and we might see him be a big producer.
We also might see him traded too. There's been talks about that.
But if he stays, he'd probably be maybe the 1C.
He is the 1C.
Possibly.
I don't see anyone above him that's going to be a 1C.
Well, how about I'll give you my next one. Michael Backlund had a very good season last year.
I don't have him on my list.
He's a center also.
Yeah.
But I think he scored 60 points.
I did my list a little. I try to include at least 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goalie if I could.
I did not do that.
That's what I try to do. But I said,
that's okay.
My next one is Yegor Serengovich.
I thought of Steve. He was not on my list.
I thought he had a really great year, and I think he's going to be a big contributor for Calgary this year.
Well, my next guy probably didn't have as good a season, but I think he's going to have it this year, and that's Rasmus Anderson.
Cool. I have him on my list too.
I did not have your last Serengovich in my list.
All right. My next one, I think he's going to be probably a top 10 goalie in the future, Dustin Wolf.
All right.
I have him on my list.
Another one on my list, I think, is due to comeback, maybe be a comeback player of the year. Could you guess who that is?
Huberdeau?
Huberdeau. Yeah, Jonathan Huberdeau.
I have him on my list too. So. All right. You want to move on to Edmonton?
The Edmonton Oilers. You want to go first or second?
I'll go first. All right. I'm going to just go from my bottom to top. Okay. I actually ranked the players on mine. Ryan Nugent Hopkins.
Okay.
I have him as number 6.
I have him as number 6 on my list. I did do them in order.
Yeah.
I'll give you my number 5.
Okay.
Stuart Skinner.
I have him. I put him as an honorable mention. He still hasn't proved fully enough for
He's
me,
still
but
the number 1.
he's still a number 1
And they went
goalie.
to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, but not all goalies that lead their team to the finals like that are, I would say, number 1 goalies.
Okay.
Next, number 5 on my list is Matthias Ekholm. I think probably one of the, I wouldn't say underrated, but doesn't probably get enough praise as he should as a defensive defenseman.
He's Well, they don't get glory.
No, and this is I as a goalie, I appreciate my defensive defenseman.
I got you.
So I at least you guys know that I appreciate the defensive defenseman. I appreciate that. I look at that.
Okay, so that was your number
5.
Your number 5. I gave you my number 5 is Stuart Skinner. So
Yeah.
you want me to give you my number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Zach Hyman.
That's who I have at number 4.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Who do you have for number 3?
Evan Bouchard.
I have Evan Bouchard.
All right, and I'm pretty sure our number 2 and 1 is going to match up then.
If you have Draisaitl and then McDavid, yes.
Yep, yes, exactly. I told you when we talked about this, I think we're going to match up quite a bit.
Yeah, well, we didn't. We said top 6. We did not say it would be spread out evenly like a line.
Yeah.
We just said top 6 players.
Yeah.
So that's what I went with.
Yep.
All right.
San Jose.
San Jose Sharks.
All right. I'll go first this time. My number 6, I have William Eklund.
I got him at number 5.
At number 5. Who do you have at number 6 then?
Fabian Zetterlund.
I don't have Zetterlund on my list. I did consider him though.
Okay.
All right, so you have him. You have him at 5. I'll tell you who I have at 5.
Okay.
Barclay Goodrow. I think now that he's gonna have more minutes with San Jose than he did with New York.
Yeah, he's a Ranger.
He was a Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think with more minutes with San Jose, I think you're gonna really see him grow a little bit more.
Is there something on your camera because you are blurry as hell?
No. Better?
You're still pretty. You're still pretty blurry. My picture is like perfect, and yours is very blurry.
This is an audio podcast, so I don't think it really matters.
Well, that's okay. You look like a blob.
Who do you have at 4?
Will Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
I got Will Smith at 3. All right. At 4 for me, I have Yaroslav Askarov.
Ooh, you think he's gonna be the number 1 this year?
I think so. I don't know if number 1, but I think he's gonna be he's the best goalie they have there.
I think they gave him, when that whole trade happened, they gave him a promise of what, so he had at least an idea when he would be able to play at the big club. I'm not sure if that's now or not. That's why he's not on my list. Now, I can agree with you. The talent is there, and he could be the rookie of the year.
I wouldn't doubt it.
So it wouldn't surprise me. But because that hasn't been stated yet, I was apprehensive of putting him in there.
Yeah. All right. So I told you I had Will Smith at 3. Who do you have at 3?
Macklin Celebrini.
Okay.
And a reason why he's a rookie.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably have him at 2 or 1.
I have him at 2.
I have more seasoned people at 1 and 2.
Okay.
So
all right, who do you have at 2 then?
Michael Granlund.
I don't even have it. I don't have him on my list.
He'll be their number 1 center.
Yeah, he will be.
So
Okay.
that's why he's there. I mean, Celebrini could be number one.
Yeah.
Will Smith could be number one. We just don't know. But these the two guys I had at the top are proven
Yeah.
people.
All right. Since you already know my 3 and 2, we'll go with our number ones. My number 1 is Tyler Toffoli.
Man, Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd have a reunion with the Kings and play with Kopi and Kempe, but
That'd
that's
be
a lot
cool.
of money to give him, and we didn't really have it. So
Yeah. All right. On to Seattle. All right, you go first this time. Who do you have for 6?
Brandon Montour.
You have him at 6?
I do.
Okay. You're I'm not gonna tell you where I have him, but okay. At 6, I have Jared McCann.
I have Jared McCann a lot higher than that.
Our list is different on this one then.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Who do you have at 5?
Joey Decord.
I have him as an honorable mention because, like I said, I like to include a goalie.
Yeah, he was incredible last year.
Oh yeah, he was. I
I
like
wish
Joey
I'd have
Decord.
picked him up in fantasy because then I would have really walked away with the league.
I believe I told you to pick him up.
And I forgot about it, and when I went back, somebody picked him up, which I blame myself for.
I think it was our account that I picked him up on. I believe
Was it you?
it was our team.
Oh, that one because we had.
Our North Korea.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
So my number 5, I have Vince Dunn.
See, I have Vince Dunn number 3.
Okay.
He was our leading defensive scorer last year.
Yeah. I like Vince Dunn, but you'll see why my list.
Okay.
Who do you have at 4?
At 4, Matty Beniers.
Okay. I have him higher. At 4, I have Andre Burakovsky.
Okay.
All right. And I'll go with my 3 real quick. Chandler Stevenson at 3.
I got Chandler Stevenson at 3.
Okay. And then number 2, I have Matty Beniers.
Okay. And I have Jordan Eberle.
Okay. I don't even have him on my list. And at my number 1, I have Brandon Montour.
And I had Jared McCann because he was, I think, their leading scorer last year.
Yeah, but there's a reason I have Brandon Montour 1. I think he had just as many points as any of these players last year on Seattle as a defenseman. He's been to back-to-back Stanley Cup finals.
And he's not playing with Florida anymore.
No, I know, but he was putting up. I mean, he looked good everywhere he's been.
Okay.
So that's why I have him
So
there.
we're a little different on that team.
Yeah.
That's
All
right.
right. Vancouver, the Canucks. Who do you have at 6?
Jake DeBrus.
I have him at 6 too.
See, we're not. Sometimes we're alike.
Yeah.
I am a Kings fan. He is a Ducks fan, so we are not always alike. So,
Yeah.
So who do you have at number 5?
I have Brock Besser at 5.
Brock Besser at number 5. You got to be kidding me.
All right. Number 4, who do you have?
This is where it probably changes.
Okay.
Because I have Elias Pettersson at number 4.
Okay. I have Thatcher Demko at 4.
So who do you have at 3?
At 3, I have JT Miller.
Okay. I have Thatcher Demko at number 3.
Okay.
Why do you want to know why I have him there? I think he's healthy this year.
Yeah. No,
When healthy, he's incredible.
Oh, no doubt.
So, and I'm not putting Elias Pettersson down. They have a freaking great team.
Yeah.
That's why they won the Pacific Division.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as far as regular season record, they're scary good. I have at number 2 JT Miller.
See, at number 2, I have Quinn Hughes.
I have Quinn Hughes at number 1.
And my number 1, I have Elias Pettersson. I think now that he has his contract, he's going to be healthy. I think he's going to be the best. I think he's going to be their best player.
So you're going out on a limb on that one because he hasn't been that.
He has.
I can see what you're saying, but he hasn't been.
No, I think
And
he will be.
Sometimes you get that contract. It doesn't always mean a great season.
No, but I think now that he doesn't have to worry about the contract anymore, he could just focus on playing hockey. So I think that's what's going to help him. All right, on to the Vegas Cheaters. Knights, Golden Knights. Sorry. I guess I'm in the dungeon now.
Honey, he's doing it again.
All right. Who do you have at 6?
Ivan Barbashev.
I didn't have him on my list.
Okay.
At number 6, I have Noah Hannafin. I always forget that he went there.
That's why he's not there. I forgot he went there too. I'm going. That's one thing that when I was
But
looking.
Barbashev is a good pull. He was my honor. I have Aiden Hill as number 7 as an honorable mention. Like I said, I like to include a goalie in my top players. I think he's their top goalie.
Okay.
There.
I could say I'd put Aiden Hill 7 with you on that one.
But Barbashev was like my next skater on my list. All right, so who do you have at 5?
Alex Pietrangelo.
Pietrangelo. You have him that low? I got Shea Theodore at 5.
I have Shea Theodore at 4.
I got Wild Bill Cody Carlson at 4.
I got Carlson at 3.
All right.
Carlson was like the third leading scorer on the team on the third line.
No, I know, but
I mean, you talk about why do they win? Carlson's on the third line.
No, I know.
He's incredible. Boy, did the Ducks make a huge mistake letting him go.
Let's not go there about Ducks letting go players.
Well, just that one.
No, there's 2 on this list.
I mean, look
there's 2 on Vegas alone.
Theodore, I forgot about that. But San Jose Sharks number 1 was Toffoli. The Kings let him go.
Yeah.
So,
all right. My number 3, I have Mark Stone.
Got him at number 2.
See, number 2, I had Alex Pietrangelo. He's their number 1 defenseman. And then I think number 1, I think we both have Jack Eichel. Yeah.
Here's the thing I'm going to say. If Shea Theodore doesn't get hurt, he was their number 1 defenseman last year. He got hurt and missed a bunch of games, and he was a stud until he got hurt. He was number 1. Now, I'm not saying Pietrangelo can't play. He's a winner. Every team should want him.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You want to do Anaheim or LA first?
Well, since Anaheim comes first in the alphabet, we'll do the Ducks.
Okay.
Only reason why.
Okay. So who do you have at 6?
Well, I have Lukas Dostal, number 6.
Okay, so I have Gibson. I think Gibson's the better goalie overall, but Dostal is the future. So Gibson. I have Gibson at 7.
Gibby did not make my list. I do have an honorable mention in there too.
Okay, who's your honorable mention? Because I just gave you mine.
Owen Zellweger.
Okay. I think he was probably my either first or second honorable mention.
If he grows like he should, he could be their number one defenseman.
Yeah.
Now that's a big if because he's still young.
Yeah.
But
All right. My number 6, I have Pavel Minchkov. And I think I agree with you that Zellweger could be a number 1, but I think Minchkov can easily be a number 1 defenseman.
he might be their number one this year.
I think he's going to be their number 2 this year.
Who?
Minchkov.
Who's going to be number one?
I'll tell you later on my list.
Okay.
So who do you have at 5?
You're going to find this funny. Mason McTavish.
That's who I have at 5.
And I have him there. There's a reason why he's not higher up on my list.
Defensive?
Well, he needs to work on his defense. He needs to work on his mistakes.
Yeah, that's why I have him so low.
And he needs to be healthy.
Yep.
Those 3 things. Otherwise, he could be 2 or 3. He wouldn't be 1. He'd be 2 or 3.
He'd probably be number 4 on my list. If that. So he probably would have moved up but I agree 100% with what you're saying, but the top 3 players I have, I don't think he's going to pass.
Okay.
All right, my number 4, I have Radko Gudas. He's going to be the number 1 defenseman this year.
You know, I totally brain farted and didn't think about him. So I'm going to be honest about that.
Yeah.
The only defenseman I put in there was Zellweger.
Okay.
So I had Dostal at 6, McTavish at 5, and this guy would be higher up too, but he had his worst year.
Okay.
And I believe he's going to explode this year, which I really hate because that means the Ducks will get a lot better. But I have Trevor Zegras at number 4.
At number 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have him at number 4, 1, injury prone. And when he did play, it wasn't the same player that we saw 2 years prior.
Yeah.
Either of the 2 years prior. So he has to make a comeback.
Yeah.
So if he would have had the same kind of year, he would have been right up at the top, somewhere 1, 2.
Yeah.
But because of that, he's number 4.
Okay. Who do you have at 3?
Frankfurt Trump.
So I don't have him on my list.
He scored 37 goals.
Yeah.
Okay. And one thing I respect, he wants to be an Anaheim Duck.
Mm.
So, and I know there's been trade speculation about him, but he wants to be there, and he produced. Now, he could have been number 1. Could have been number 1 with the way he played, except for he makes stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, pushing off the net and getting a penalty shot. I mean,
oh God.
And
So,
all I can remember is you talking about that for weeks. So, but, this is with speculation. I mean, obviously, I think Zegras or McTavish could be the number 1 guy this year.
yeah.
I think
So-
Lucas Dostal could be the number 1 guy this year. Depending on what happens with Gibson, of course.
I
Being
have
traded.
the reason why I didn't have Vetron on my list is, one, I don't think Vetron's not going to have the top 6 minutes like he did last year. So, one, that's going to diminish his minutes. He's going to be probably a third line winger.
He'll be on the power play, though.
He will be on the power play, but still, but with a full healthy team, and I don't know his defense. He was one of the worst penalty takers, I think, all season last year. I want to say he was one of the top people.
Well, like I said, he made stupid mistakes, but he scored 37 goals.
Yeah, but like I said,
Who was number 2 on the Ducks in goals scored?
number 2 on the Ducks.
I mean, you're the Duck fan.
I know,
I
but
don't even know the answer to the question. I'm asking you.
I'm trying to
Who's
remember
number
the top.
2? And how close were they to 37 goals? That's one thing I'm going to say. They needed goals.
Yeah.
He was the main reason of
No,
them scoring goals.
but this is my.
I understand what you're
I
saying.
got what you're saying, but what I'm doing is a little different than how you're doing it. I'm not going off of what happened last year. I'm kind of, well, I am, but I'm also thinking what's going to happen this year. I guess, and I love Vetrano, and I agree with you. I love that he wants to be in Anaheim, and I really like that.
Yeah.
My number 3,
I
I
want to
have
be
Leo
proven
Carlson.
wrong by these. I want to be proven wrong by these guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
But my
so
number 3, I have Leo Carlson.
he's my number 2,
So
and he could be number 1.
he can easily be number 1.
So I got 4 guys, all young, who could be number 1 if they have a big year.
Yeah.
Who's your number 1?
Well, what about my number 2?
Okay, give me your number 2.
I have Trevor Zegras at 2. I think he's going to be, there's no contract he has to worry about. He's fully healthy. He's going to be in training camp full time. He's going to be able to play with Troy Terry or Carl. I don't know how the lines are going to mix up this year, but he's going to be healthy. There's going to be no contract holdout or anything like that. I think he's going to be ready. He's going to be better defensively because he already looked like that last year. So I think he's going to be ready. That's why I have him a little higher.
Okay.
And then my number 1, I have Troy Terry.
I have Troy Terry.
Because I think Troy Terry's going to be the number 1 scorer on this team because of the guy I have at number 2. When Trevor Zegras and Troy Terry are playing together, they are a dangerous duo.
Well, we're going to find out. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. You got to hope that with any of these teams because that can make a huge difference in what happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. On to Los Angeles?
On to Los Angeles.
All right. I'll tell you who I have as an honorable mention.
Okay.
I have 2 honorable mentions because, like I said, I like to include a goalie. I have Mikey Anderson and Darcy Kemper. Those are my 2 honorable mentions at 7.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you how I did mine, and I agree with that for honorable mention. Total.
Yeah.
So, but I also had 2 people at number 6.
Okay. Tell me who your 6 in.
The 2 at 6, Trevor Moore and Philip Deneau.
I have Philip Deneau at number 6.
Okay.
I thought about Trevor Moore.
Well, I did too, and I couldn't pick. I go, guy who led the team in goals, the guy who does everything.
Yeah.
I mean, and he doesn't do anything to it super excel, but he does everything well.
Yeah.
He's one of those players you don't win a Stanley Cup with.
Yeah.
Philip Deneau is a Stanley Cup kind of player. You want him on your team. So.
Yeah. All right. Who do you have at 5?
So, who do you have at 5?
I have Kevin Fiala at 5.
I have, and this is the one I hope goes to number 1. I have Quinton Byfield at number 5.
You know, it's funny. I had Quinton Byfield at 5, and I switched it because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give Quinton Byfield the benefit of the doubt. I think talent. Like I said, I think this year, I think Byfield's definitely gonna bypass probably Fiala and maybe 1 or 2. Probably he'll probably be number 2 or 3 by the end of the year on my list.
He could be number 1.
He could be.
Byfield could be, but Fiala could be number 1 too.
Yeah, Fiala could. He easily could.
I mean, some of my ranking is out of respect.
Yeah.
So I had Byfield at 5. I had Fiala at 4.
So that's exactly how I had it, and I literally just before we started talking about it, I just switched it.
Well, yeah, and that's an easy thing I could see because it's just one off.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, number 3, he could be number 1, Adrian Kempe.
I have him at 3 too.
Well, the funny thing is the top two scorers were Adrian Kempe and Kevin Fiala, and then Anze Kopitar, I think, was third.
Yeah.
Who do you have at number 2?
Drew Doughty.
Drew Doughty. Out of respect. Number 1 defenseman. He's also a very good offensive player.
Yeah.
And he's that rare that really plays both well.
Oh, yeah. That's why I do like about Doughty is he's definitely a two-way defenseman. He's not just a offensive defenseman or a he does do both very well.
I mean, he's not a Kel McCarr or Quinn Hughes, but I mean, defensively, I take him over either one of them as a defenseman.
Yeah.
But not as an offensive defense. And out of respect, Cap still got to be number 1.
I got Bailey the Lion at number 1. That's good. I got the captain Anze Kopitar at 1.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that it could be anywhere from 1 to 5 could all intermix this year.
Yeah.
And the thing is it could be scary if Brant Clark becomes something. I have a feeling it's going to take him another year to be something. But he could be in the 6th spot this year.
Yeah.
You just never know. He's just too raw to predict.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys can all tell us what you think who those guys are. So
I'm excited for this year. I can tell you, I'm not gonna say who won or anything, but I was watching the Ducks rookie game yesterday. God, those uniforms for the Ducks look so great on the ice. I almost forgot that we actually got better uniforms now. It was nice seeing beautiful looking jerseys on your team.
Yep.
I'm not used to it.
Oh, both teams' rebrands were definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, for the Ducks, a big upgrade.
I think bigger for the Ducks. I'm being honest. The Ducks were a little bit bigger than the Kings. God. I would have liked to seen a few other things for the Kings, but I still say way better than what we had.
I think it was still better than what you had. I think they would have gone back to like what you and I talked about, the 02 through 07 look. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been like, I would have been like, okay, that's maybe just as like, it would have been like Ducks and Keys are like right there.
I'm in total agreement with you.
Like, we don't have any I know it's not purple, it's called Forum Blue, but we don't have any purple teams in the NHL. You know, let's be different. And I like what the Ducks did. They went full orange country. I'm like, all right, cool.
The closest thing you have is like the eggplant cup.
Yeah.
Don't the Avalanche have a little eggplant in there? One of their uniforms?
That's more of a maroon than eggplant.
Well, it just kind of reminds me of it then.
I could see it, but I would say theirs is more like a reddish purple. Okay. Ours is more like a purple. But
so are we done with all that?
Yeah.
Do we want to go to our listeners' question?
Well, since you got the listener question, I'll let you talk us through it.
Well, let me just read it to you how he sent it to me.
And by the way, I am jealous that this listener that gave us the question got to meet Dominic Hasek himself.
Yeah.
I am so jealous. Eric, you are a lucky guy. I wish I could have met Dominic Hasek.
Today at 12, not sure if Cody uses Money Puck, but has great stat conversions and worth a look for sure.
Money Puck?
Money Puck. So,
I'll check it out.
So, let me just see. We had a long discussion about this question anyways. Oh my God. Who do you guys think was the best goalie on either team since the team's inception? oh boy, you had a few in LA. So this is my next response. We're going to use this question on our next podcast. So his comeback, let's go. I'm curious who you say, LOL. I think I know who Cody will say. Well, you're going to find out in a little bit, Eric, about who you think Cody's going to say. So my question was, out of total respect for Eric, you want to know now who I think? No, I want to hear you say it on the podcast. LOL. But I'm going to say it's way harder on you because you had some quick stop-offs that were very good goalies.
Yeah, you did.
Now, I want to read this whole thing because part of what I've done, and I know I didn't even bring this up to you, Cody, but I did it. The question I have is, how do you break down a top goalie? Is it save percentage, time on ice, goals allowed? What is the ratings you use to determine it? Because guys like Fuhr and Potvin were on the Kings at one time.
Yeah.
I say you will get my answer next Monday. And yes, because he asked, now you're thinking, just before that. Now you'll get my answer. Yes, I do a lot of thinking. Sounds good. And then it's the picture of him and Dominic Hasek. This guy is upset you didn't remember his Hart Trophy. And I'm going like, oh, holy
Did
crap.
Eric actually tell him there? Well,
I don't know. I showed you the picture, right?
yeah, you sent me the picture.
I don't know if you can see it.
I saw. I have the picture on my
Yeah.
phone.
So, anyways, I told him to tell Dominic, I'm sorry. I think he's a top 5 of all time. He goes, oh boy, I think
He's a top
there's
3 of all time.
Well,
Let's be
I
honest.
was just saying, top. Always people top 5. He goes, oh boy, I don't think there's 4 guys above him.
I would say my top 3 all time is probably Brodeur, or I would say Hasek, Brodeur, Waugh.
Okay. So to me, it's him and Brodeur.
Yeah.
Dryden, Roy, and Plant.
Yeah.
Ken Dryden, oh boy, he won 6 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
He
was a beast.
He
He'd be my 4.
He said Roaz 1, Hasek 2, Brodeur's 3. But you got to realize, Hasek won on Buffalo when they weren't that good.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he's probably the greatest talented goalie, but
Yeah.
Brodeur had the best stats. So,
Yeah.
criteria. This is my criteria for goalies. Now, Cody, you can throw in and when you think.
Okay.
One of the criteria is how many cups have they won?
Yeah.
How many awards did they win? What kind of competition did they go against? How long did they play for that team? Longevity.
Yeah.
How many wins did they have? How many records do they hold? And then probably last on my list would probably be stats. So those were my criteria for making the observations I did for my top 3, Eric, for the Kings. So I don't know what you used, Cody. Would you throw anything else in there?
I would say I agree with all of that. Another thing I would add is how they keep their how they again playoffs. If were they the main reasons why their team went on or why they kind of went home early? How were they in crunch time? Pretty much like how clutch were they?
Yeah, well, that'd be part of competition, and were they the reason the teams made it?
Yeah.
See, this would made number 1 on my list easy.
Well, mine was easy no matter what.
So
of course we don't have as big of a as like you did, but
yeah.
Are we doing just one or are we doing like a top 3?
He asked for top 3.
Top 3? All right, who's your number 3?
My number 3 took the Kings in 92-93 to the Stanley Cup. He had 145 wins for the Kings. what gets me, it was a different time too. He had an .895 save percentage. His goals against average is 3.47. And he did take him to the cup, and they were the runner-up, and that was Kelly Rudy.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3?
My number 3, I'm going to go with John Gibson. John Gibson is my number 3
This would have been
right now.
my guess, too.
Huh?
I mean, I didn't look up any of your stats, but I would have guessed just off the top of my head, John Gibson, number 3.
Oh, he's been there for 11 years. You know, a save percentage of 910, 2.9 goals against average, 24 shutouts. You know, like I said, I wish he would have seen more playoff time. Maybe if we would have been in the playoffs a little bit more often, maybe he might be higher on this list. But that's who I have at number 3. Actually, yeah, I have an honorable mention, but I'll say it after.
You can say it now if you want.
All right, my honorable mention for number 3 is Ryan Miller. He would have been higher, but he only played 4 seasons with the Ducks. Right,
Yeah.
But no playoffs. But I'm just going off of what he's done in his career. So
There you go.
I would say he's probably if we're talking about just overall career, he'd probably be my number 2 goalie in Ducks history. Or if we're talking about overall career.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about the
The
Ducks and the Kings.
I know. That's why I didn't have him higher.
Okay. Because, when I read the text I got, Felix Potvin came in, and so did Grant Fuhr. Felix Potvin played 3 years for the Kings. He won 61 games, 905 save percentage, and a 2.35 goals against. 3 years, 61 wins. I mean, he's a good goalie, but I mean, his overall career still wouldn't be my number 1.
Yeah.
Grant Fuhr, he won a lot of Stanley Cups,
But not with LA.
He played 14 games for the Kings. He had 1 win in 14 games.
He only had 1 win in 14
Only
games.
1 win, 8.76 save percentage, and his goals against average was 4.04 per game.
Wow.
So that's why they're not in the top 3 in the Kings, but they were great goalies.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of great goalies. Terry Sawchuk, Mario Lassard, Martin Jones has had a great career. Played for the Kings. Trying to think of Mario Lassard played 240 games with the Kings, but he only won 92 games.
All right. So who's your number 2?
Number 2, he's up on the at the Staples Center. His numbers saved up there. Rogie Vachon.
Wasn't he the first King?
I think he was.
To get his number retired?
I think so. 171 wins, .901 save percentage, 2.86 goals against average. He was something.
Yeah.
He was definitely something.
My turn?
Yeah.
All right. My number 2. Who, honestly, I don't know if he should, but I would like to see his numbers in the rafters. The original Mighty Duck himself.
The number 1 pick, right?
No, the number 1. Yep. In the expansion, that's what I'm saying. The number 1, the original pick, is Guy Hebert. He's been with the Ducks this whole time. He's, what?
I've nailed every one of yours so far in my head.
I think mine was a lot easier to do than yours. But like I said, he's played, I want to say, the 3rd most games. I don't know what.
Yeah, and he net-minded to him when they were terrible.
Yeah, they were terrible. So like I said, I would love to see his numbers in the rafters. Probably not going to, but I think he should. my number one should be in the rafters, and it's annoying that it isn't.
Did you want to go with your number one first?
I'll go with my number one because I feel like yours is a little bit bigger.
That's okay.
But
I know who yours is, and
we got the masked man himself, the one that took us to 2 Stanley Cup finals. He was the second the second latest player to ever win the Conn Smythe on a losing team. He's the reason why we even made it to either Stanley Cup final, especially the one in 2003. John Sebastian, the Jiggy man himself, Jaguar. He should be, his number 35 should be retired up in the rafters at the Ponda, and it's pissing me off that it's not. His number needs to be up there. You're telling me that this guy led us to 2 Stanley Cup finals during the Mighty Ducks and the Anaheim Ducks era. We wouldn't have been at either one if it wasn't for him. I know the Stanley Cup, I know Brizgalov really helped us get there. But Jaguar is the one that really is the one that closed it out and everything. And Jaguar is the only reason why we even made it to the 2003 final. He's the only reason why we even went to Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final against the Devils. That guy's done everything. His number should be retired. Honestly, I think his number should have been retired before Niedermeyer, in all honesty.
So you're saying you know exactly who my number one is?
Yes.
How hard was that?
It wasn't hard at all.
Okay.
Because he's also taking your team to the Stanley Cup finals twice.
He probably had one of the best Stanley Cup runs as a goalie ever.
That was in the 2002 or the 12, right?
In 12, yes.
Yeah.
They barely made the playoffs. They played the number 1, number 2, 3 seeds in the West in a row and beat them all.
Not even close either.
They went 3-0 on all of them, and then they had to lose a game and then shut up. They went, I think, 16.
I think it was 16-4 total.
I think so, something like that. I think they ran Vancouver. Didn't they ran Vancouver, who was the President Cup, out in 4 games? Maybe it was 5. I can't remember.
But
anyway,
I'll look it up.
Jonathan Quick. Not only 2 Stanley Cups, he was a Conn Smythe winner in 2012. He has 370 wins, 911 save percentage, a 2.46 goals against average, 57 shutouts. When him and Cody retire, there'll be 2 more statues outside of Staples Center. I know it's called Crypto.com. If you're offended by me calling it Staples Center still, that those are going to be 2 more statues out there between Cody and Jonathan Quick. So, Eric, I'm sorry it wasn't Potvin and Fuhr. They had great careers, but their careers for the Kings, Potvin actually had a better one than Fuhr. He just barely played. Like 1 win. So, but they did have some greaties that came in and played in late years for them. So, but those are our top 3 goalies. Fans, what do you think? Do you think we're off on that one?
I think our top 3 were easily the top 3.
Okay.
And like I said, I think our number ones were pretty easy for each team. They're the only goalies in our team's history to win a Stanley Cup for our team.
Yeah, I knew the number 1 for the Ducks who it was going to be. I thought maybe Gibson could have popped over.
I love Gibson
stat wise, maybe, but I'm not in the hearts of Ducks fans. I don't think.
No, I mean, for me, it's always going to be Jiggy, getting jiggy with it. I'm just watching him grow. I just remember watching him, Korea, in that 03, just those two guys alone is what also, like, I was 9 or 10 years old when that was going on. And I just remember, or no, I was 10, yeah. And I just remember watching that just because Solani wasn't with the team at that time. I think he was with the Sharks, I want to say, in 03. But like just watching Korea and Ziggy in those playoffs and that season was just so fun to watch.
Wasn't he in Winnipeg?
No. Solani
to
was
the-
traded to the Ducks, I want to say, in 97, 98.
From the Sharks?
No. So Solani got traded to the Ducks in 97, 98. Then I think before the 01 or 02 season, he got traded to the Sharks. Then he came back. Then he went to Colorado. Then he came back to the Ducks. You're looking it up, aren't you?
I'm curious because I thought he went from Winnipeg to.
No, he went from Winnipeg to the Ducks. Then they traded him to the Sharks. Because I think that trade was part of, I think, why the Ducks got Corey Perry? Maybe? I can't remember at the top of my head. I think that's how it was. I'm just curious. Am I right?
Wrong.
Wrong?
Played first 3 years for Winnipeg. 95, 96, he played for Phoenix. Then he played 5 years in Anaheim. 95, 90.
He never played for Phoenix.
I don't know if you can see it.
Hold on. I can't see anything. I'm looking it up now. I
He
think
went to San Jose, he came back, then he went back to San Jose again, then to Colorado, then finished the last, 9 years with the Ducks? That's what ESPN says.
no. I think the Jets became the Arizona Coyotes in 98, 99.
It says Phoenix. Maybe look a different one.
Playing career. So he played Winnipeg Jets from 92 to 96. Then he got then he went to the Ducks in 96 to 2001. San Jose Sharks from 2001 to 03.
Yeah.
Colorado from 03 to 04. And then from Anaheim from 05 to 2014.
Yeah, so they got him from Winnipeg. You said they got him from San Jose. They got him.
No, I said no. I said when he went from Winnipeg to Anaheim. Then Anaheim traded him to San Jose. Then he went to Colorado. And then he went
back to Anaheim.
Yes.
Okay. We're good. I got to get out of this dungeon. It's hot.
That's why
I'm tired of
I have a fan on me.
warm water and stale bread.
Oh, yeah. Mom's doing a good job. Good.
Get me out of here.
I didn't know you guys have good Wi-Fi and internet connection down there to do the podcast.
God's providing.
Well, he can provide you for another week then. All right. All right, ready to get out of here?
I am. You?
Right. I'm ready.
I'm glad you're feeling better. Are you still have plans tonight?
Yeah, we're still going out with Bimac and Rachel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And thanks for the Angel game with your mom. Yes.
Yeah. So
thank you.
All right. Well, let's do a quick outro so we can get out of here. Guys, please follow us on all your social media platforms, and please follow us on all your podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Are you having fun there?
Yeah.
He just, as I'm saying this, my dad's just not.
I tried to mess him up.
I saw you at the corner of my eye too. I'm just focusing on me, the good-looking guy between us.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah. Guys, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. Please follow us. please, guys, leave a review and a rating to the few people that I did notice. We did have a few more ratings. We really appreciate the 5-star reviews. We really do. If you guys can leave a comment or leave a review, we'd really appreciate that too. Let us know what you guys think about the podcast. We would love to hear from you. If you guys have any questions that you guys want to ask us, like Eric did here, please, you can DM us on Royally Quacked on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Like I said, all questions are
Gmail.
or you can email us at royallyquacked@gmail.com. Yep. Or if you guys want to make it easier, in the show notes there will be a thing that says send us a text message. If you click on that, it'll send us to the podcast host that we use, and it will let me know about the questions. So
Awesome.
it'll be like a fan mail. So on that, you have anything else?
Go Kings, go!
All right, let's go Duck.
See you next week.
A father and son, a bond so strong, talking hockey all day long. Royally Quacked, their podcast show, sharing stories, highs and lows. From the Kings to the Ducks they go, shouting go Kings go. Quack quack they cheer, a father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows in the years. The legends of Gretzky, Solana's grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, a royally quacked their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand, shouting go Kings go. Quack quack they cheer, a father and son, their passion sincere on the ice. Their love appears through the highs and lows and the years. Like the legends of Gretzky, Solana's grace, passing on history in every case. Father teaching son, a legacy shared, on Royally Quacked their stories aired. Face off in life, together they stand, shouting go Ducks go, go Kings go. A father and son watching the show, through wins and losses their spirits grow. On Royally Quacked they steal the show.